Well, good morning, everybody. My name is W.J. Miles. I'm your instructor for today's webinar, and Barbara Bach
Good morning.
is answering your questions online. If you have any questions during our session today, please type them out in the question pane located at the top right-hand corner of your screen. If you don't see the question pane, you may have to click on the orange arrow button to maximize it. We'll do our best to answer as many questions as possible and as time allows by the end of the presentation today. So today we're going to be talking about RPR. I love RPR. I think RPR is one of the best things to happen to real estate in a long time. If you go to our website, mymetrotex.com, you'll see our website here, and right here in the top center is the main menu. If you click on MLS Login, that will take you to a screen where you're going to put in your license number with a 0 in front and your password. Once you get logged in there, it will bring you to the NETRIS portal. When you're on the NETRIS portal, RPR is on the third row, the first icon there. If you click on that, it will take you to your RPR account if you have it set up. If you do not have it set up, it will bring you to this sign-in screen. To get signed in or set up an account, you would do create a new account here at the bottom. Once you've set up that account, then you'll be logging in with the email address here that you have with NAR, and then the password that you set up when you set up your account. So I'm going to get logged back into mine here and hit sign in. Once you get signed in, you'll see the home page of RPR here. Lots of great stuff here for you. We're going to hit the high points on it. If you're on the blue side of the database, you're on the residential side. If you come up to your name, welcome in your name, to the right of that will be commercial. When you click on commercial, everything will turn red. So the color of the screen tells you which side of the database you're on. We're primarily just going to be on the residential side today. And then here on the screen at the top, you'll have your search window. There's several different tabs of different things you can search on here. Then if you hit the little magnifying glass, it will search for what you were searching for. If you go to the right of that, you have advanced. You have all these additional fields down here that you can search on. If you collapse that back, down here in the middle of the page, you'll see recently things that you have done. So recent properties you've viewed, recent searches you've done, recent reports that you have run in the system. These clear out after 30 days. So if there's anything here like a report that you want to keep, you need to download it to your computer or put it in your cloud storage, wherever you're going to store that, because after 30 days it will log off there. If you scroll on down, you'll see RPR Mobile. This is one of the big benefits of RPR, is you can use it on your computer, your tablet, and your phone. So if you haven't installed the app on your phone, I would highly recommend that you go to your app store and search for RPR Mobile there.
And we teach a 2-hour class on that, don't we, WJ?
We do. We actually teach 3 classes on using RPR: the introduction to RPR, the introduction to commercial RPR, and mobile RPR. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, this footer is here the whole time you're in the system. You can get to lots of great trainings and things over here underneath blog and all that. You'll see the toll-free number to their customer service group. I've got nothing but good things to say about their customer service. They are great. They're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you call that number, you'll get somebody. They know their product very well. They're very helpful. If you want to live chat with them, you can click on that live chat there, and usually they can help you through that live chat. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about RPR and what you can get to with this. RPR has every residential and every commercial property in the United States in it. That's over 166 million properties are in this database.
That should get them started for a while, do you think?
Take you a while, wouldn't it? Then it connects to over 300 other databases to pull information into this database. So the information is not created here. They go to the best source on the internet to find that data. They pull it into this database. This database is about 7 years old. We've belonged to it probably, I don't know, 4 years now, something like that. Been a member of our MLS has been connected to RPR about 4 years. So anything that's been through MLS since that time would show up in here. It also downloads from the tax records. It has information about distressed properties, connects to just lots of other databases to pull information into this database. So we've got all properties. That means everything that's in the tax records, everything there, whether it's been through an MLS or not. For sale means it's actively for sale or pending in an MLS system. For lease was not here when RPR first launched. They heard from realtors that, hey, you got our data there, why aren't you providing leases to us? So they improved the database and added the leases so that you can search here. You can search for neighborhood demographics, go to school reports, and then there's market activity here. So lots of different areas for you to go into. So if we go to all properties, you'll see properties whether they've been through an MLS or not. And notice you can search by an address, a city, a zip code, all the way out to an MLS number. So the way I like to start class is have you look at a property you know something about. So if you click in this box and you type in an address, your home address, one of your listings, a friend's address, something that you know something about, I'm just typing in a property here that I know in Flower Mound. We click on that. It shows how it wants to search there for it, and we hit the search button. It's going to take you to the information about that property. Across the top here, we've got all these different tabs we could go into. You'll see the address of the property here, and then underneath that would be the market status. So this one is currently off market. If it was active in an MLS, you would see active or pending, one of those statuses. To the right, it will tell you where it's getting its data from. So if it hasn't been through MLS in the last 4 years or so, then you'll probably just see public records. If it has been through MLS, it may have public records and listing data there. And then we have RVM. RVM only exists in this database. In real estate, there's an AVM. AVM stands for Automated Valuation Model. Automated Valuation Model. That's a calculation that's done on public records to try to give a homeowner a value for their property. So you see websites out on the internet that do AVMs like Zillow's Zestimate and other websites that do that. RVM, if you roll over the little I behind it there, only exists in this database. RVM stands for Realtor Valuation Model. Realtor Valuation Model. That is different from an AVM in that it uses the recent sales out of the MLS system that this property is in to calculate that number. So instead of using the tax assessed values, it's using the recent sales, so it should be much more accurate. If you go down to view details, when you click on that, if you belong to the MLS that property is in, you'll see the details down here, the recently sold properties, when they were sold, and how much they sold for right here. If you're not a member of that MLS, you will not see those recent solds there. So if you looked at a property in Houston or San Antonio or Phoenix or Memphis or somewhere else, and you were not a member of that MLS, you would not see the sold prices there. Okay? So on this details here, you see the RVM value, if it has one calculated, the confidence level that the RVM has. That means how confident is it in that number? Did it have plenty of comparables to choose from? Were they pretty close together? It's kind of like you, when you go into Matrix and you do a CMA, and you've got 10 properties, they're really like yours, they're really close together, you're pretty confident that your CMA number is correct. If you go in there and you only find 3 comparables in that neighborhood and they're not really like your property and they sold really far apart from each other, you're not real confident in your CMA. So that's what the RVM is stating.
Here's
Yes.
a really good question, WJ. Is RVM a rolling estimate over the last 6 months or from the last month?
If you look right, let's go back here. If you look right here, it shows you the RVM change in the last month and the RVM change over the last 12 months. I have not seen the calculation for RVM as to how they calculate it, but every property in the United States, every residential property, I should say, in the United States, the RVM or AVM is calculated each month. So we had a sale in our community here that really brought our RVM up because it was a cash deal and sold for more than anything ever sold for in the neighborhood. So that's the reason that one went up there pretty good last month, and then over the last 12 months. You can also look at the chart on the history. If you go to the history tab up here, this dashed line is the RVM, AVM being calculated each month. If you roll over one of those dashes, it'll pop out and show you what it calculated that month for it. So you'll see, is the property appreciating, depreciating, staying the same, whatever. Okay? So, yes, ma'am?
There's another one. Is there somewhere that has methodology for RVM? Example, properties within a quarter of a mile, properties in the same range, and so forth.
I have not seen the
Methodology.
calculation. I haven't seen how they calculate that number. What I tell everybody on the RVM is the next time you have a property that you need to do a CMA on, do it the same way you've always done it. Go back into Matrix, find your comparables, do your calculation, come up with what you think that property is worth. Then come into RPR, look that address up, and look at that RVM. Is it going to be exact to what you figured? No. It should be close, though. It shouldn't be really far off. If it is really far off, there's something wrong with the basic facts here. This comes from the tax records, and if it's got the wrong number of bedrooms or the wrong number of bathrooms, the wrong square footage, that number is going to be wrong, and you can refine the RVM by going in here and confirming those home facts for what they are, and that number should come right in line there. So I think the more times you do that, the more confidence you'll get in this RVM number there. Okay? The system also connects to zip forms. If you don't have the zip forms button right here, you need to go into your profile, and on the right hand side you'll see a link to the zip forms account. You need to have your account done first, and then when you link to it, this button will show up. Saves you a lot of time. It basically pushes all the tax record data into zip forms there for you, so it saves you a lot of time. If you scroll on down, if the property's been through MLS, you'll see photos. It'll say photo view up here in the top left hand corner. If it hasn't, then you'll see the Google Street View. You can spin around, look at the neighborhood, all the other houses. I know there's a plane right up here above this tree right there because I use this property a lot in class. So you can spin around and see that. You can also see an overhead view right there, and the house that it's looking at will be right there in the center of the screen. If the property's been through MLS multiple times, you'll see Google right here. Just below that, you'll see View Historical Photos. If the property's been through MLS and the photos made it into RPR, then they will never be deleted out. They're going to retain those photos. Down below that, you'll see property notes. You can add a note. You can upload photos. You can do a seller's net proceed. If you want to add a note, you hit add note. It pops up a window. You can type whatever you want to say in that window. And then you can tell it, do you want to include it to your reports? The reports are the only thing that you can get out of RPR for your client. So if you wanted the notes that you made there to show up at the end of the reports, you would put it there with a check mark. If it's something just for you, you don't want your clients to see it, then you would uncheck that and you would hit add. It then adds that note down below. RPR has committed that they will never delete anything that you put on a listing. So you add notes, you add photos, you can even add recordings down here from your phone. RPR has committed that they will never delete anything you put on a listing. So you list a property today, and 5 years from now you list it again. When you come into RPR, you'll see anything that you added to that listing. Yes, ma'am.
Now, those notes, they don't feed back into MLS, do they, WJ?
No, this
That's
system
right.
only takes a download. It does not upload anything to our MLS system or the tax records or whatever. It just takes downloads from those. Also, I can be putting notes and pictures on a property. You could be looking at the same property, putting notes and pictures and recordings and things on it. Neither one of us know that the other's even touching the property. Only you can see what you put on a property. No one else can see it. And RPR has committed they will never delete it. You can delete it yourself, though. Let's say whatever this note was, I took care of it. I don't need that note anymore. I can hit the delete right there and confirm. I want to delete that. If I want to delete the picture, I hit the edit button over here on the right, and one of the options is to delete that picture. So you're in total control of your notes and pictures and recordings. Again, in the mobile app, there's a way that you can turn the mic on and record, so you don't have to type so much on your phone in there. You can record a memo to yourself. Again, the power of RPR, whatever you do on your computer, you see on your phone. Whatever you do on your phone, you see on the computer.
So just to be sure, if I'm pulling up a listing in RPR and I add photos, notes, or video, only I can see it. Only I can see it. No one else can see it.
That's correct. It's dependent on who is logged in to the system as to what can be seen there.
You also have another question about, heard that RPR goes by radius from subject property. I've compared my own residence as far as comps. I live across from a community that sales for 400,000 or more. It includes those properties. I also heard that RPR goes by radius from a subject property. So
Again, I have not seen the formula on figuring the RVM on that. So
that's something you can chat.
Use it for what it's worth. If you get confidence in the RVM, then it's basically doing a quick CMA and lookup for you. You can see it on your computer. You can see it on your phone when you're out in the mobile environment. So we have home facts here. It's going to show the public records and the facts that it has there. If the property's been through MLS, these public facts will move out here in the center, and you'll see the listing facts right here, or the listing data. You can also make changes in those if you know that there is something different. You can also put a note down here. Maybe if you made a change, you would put a note as to why you made that change. Down below that, we have the median estimated home value here. This chart shows you this property for the zip code, the county, and the state of Texas. If it's too busy for you, you can uncheck the things that you don't want, and then you would just see whatever you leave checked there at the top. Interior details and exterior details, if it's just has the public records or the information from the Central Appraisal District, you're going to see very little information under interior and exterior. But if it's been through MLS, it's going to pull that information out of MLS, so you'll see a lot more interior and exterior details. We've got the location details here. Is it in a flood zone or not? What's the walkability score? We don't score real well here in Texas with walkability score. It's more of an inner city type thing, or a large city thing. How far is it to walk to the grocery store and the dry cleaners and the pharmacy and all that kind of stuff? So it's a score of 0 to 5. And this one, as you can see, is way down in the ones here because we have to drive just about everywhere we go. And if we scroll on down, another big benefit of RPR is the schools. On the schools here, you'll see based on the location, what schools should it report to? The elementary, the middle school, the high school there. If it's been through MLS, over here on the left, you'll see the listing data, the schools that were put in MLS that it goes to there. So great tool here for you to know about the schools. I always tell everybody when you're out showing in a neighborhood that you don't know and they get excited about a property, that's one of the first things they talk to you about is the schools. How are the schools around here? And if you don't know anything about that community, you can come in here to RPR and it will show you these schools. And most people are most concerned, I think, about the high school. So if you click on the high school there, it's going to open up a report from Great Schools. Great Schools is a website that's their whole reason for being, is to rate public and private schools across the United States. It will give them a score of 0 to 10 here. So you would be able to share this with your client, that is the rating that Great Schools gives them. And then it shows their test scores at the different grade levels. If you send a report, it even has active properties that are in that area. It has comments by parents and teachers about that school there also. So great report, great way to share that information. If you came here with me, be sure and hit the back button in the web browser to go back to where we were on the summary of the property here. And you'll get right back where we were on the school. So you can see that school report for all of the schools that it reports to there. One relatively new thing that they've added here, and probably in the last, I think 4 months, 5, 6 months, something like that, is home energy consumption. If you click on that, it's going to show you this information if it can find the property in this database. And it connects to a database called Tendril Home Fit, data provided by Tendril Home Fit. This is estimating what the utilities are, and I can tell you that number right there does represent my electric bill pretty well. I do the 12-month averaging on this property, and the last bill I got was $131, and that's showing a $128. Now that doesn't take into account the gas bill or the water bill or anything like that. Then in the local area, what's the average in that local area? And then it assigns a score of 0 to 100 here. The better the number, the more energy efficient that property is. I've got one of the older homes in my neighborhoods. There's some newer ones in there, and it's actually scores higher than what the newer ones does there. I'm not sure how they get this data. Is it just an average that they do? Are they pulling it from the smart meters? I'm not sure. But it gives you an idea how much the electric bill is going to be on the properties there. If we scroll on down, you'll see the legal description with all the lots and blocks and all the neighborhood information and everything. Mortgage records, this is going to come from the tax records. That's an old home improvement loan that we paid off years ago, but it's still there on the tax record, so it downloads. And then the tax info, how much is the land worth, the improvements worth, the total assessed value, all that great stuff. So lots of great information here in one place for you. If we scroll all the way back up to the top, we've got all these additional tabs across the top. If we go to the History tab, the next tab over, it's going to show you this chart. First time I saw this chart, I really didn't know what to think about it. It looks kind of complicated. Yeah. But the more I look at properties with it, the more I like how much information they're giving you on this chart. The legends across the top here. If you see a little orange house out here, that means that the property changed hands. The name on the deed changed. If you see an orange dot, that means it was listed in MLS. If you see a dollar sign out here, they took a loan against that property for that amount on there. If you see an orange line that goes from top to bottom, just a vertical line there, that means that the lender filed a letter with the Central Appraisal District that they sent to that borrower that they were in default of their loan, that they scheduled a foreclosure, that they actually foreclosed on that property. So you would see those. Yeah. Then you've got the green dot here. This is the tax assessed value. If you go to the top of these little lollipops here and you roll over that green dot, that shows you that January what was the tax assessed value for that property. So this property is in Denton County. They've been really aggressive trying to keep up with property values, and you can see it going up. That green box right there means the assessed value for the next January. So we're getting ready to go into tax season here. They're going to do a new appraisal coming up in March, April timeframe. The bills are going to go out in April, May timeframe. You can fight your taxes in June, July, and then in September, October, they lock down the records and the bills go out to the homeowners to pay. The dashed line here, as you can see, this one has a dashed line. If you roll over those dashes, that's the RVM or AVM being calculated each month. So it's going to show you, is that property appreciating, depreciating, staying the same over time or whatever. Then this sales comp value. This is a special report that you can run over in the report section of the database, and it just shows that I did one on this property and what it gave the value. And then this little gray bar right here is actually kind of a hill that goes across the background of this chart here. If the property had a loan taken in the last several years, it would show where it started, and it's basically showing you amortization over the months and years there. If they make their payment, then the balance of their loan is going to go down there. So I don't know that it's actual payments being made that they know for sure, but it's showing a representation of that graph across there. Across the bottom, you've got the years and the month, and across the left-hand side, you've got the values here. So I think the more properties that you look at with this chart and the activity on them, the more you'll like that chart. It's a place to make notes there again. Prior sales transactions, this would be if it's been through MLS. You could see the listing records. You could see the public fax records there. So prior sales. Then we've got the tax assessed values, and it could go back for years and years, showing you all the tax roll data there from previous years. The mortgage records, again, if it's on the tax records, it'll show you what type of loan that was. And at the very bottom is the distressed info. If you see that orange line going across up here, you can roll over that orange line. It'll tell you what type of letter it was, but then it gives you the details of what that letter was down here at the bottom. So lots of great information here for you. If we go to the next tab at the top, charts, right here, when we click on charts, it's going to take us to a page here, and it does lots of charts and graphs and information here for you. They calculate every number you could think of as far as market activity here. They're showing the listing inventory, the distressed properties, median sales price by square foot. I always tell everybody in class, if you're having a hard time sleeping, come in here and try to figure out how they calculated every one of these things here. It would put me to sleep pretty quick, I think. Over here on the right, you've got some more of those charts and graphs at the zip code, the city, and the state level there. If we go to the last one here, the neighborhoods. When we go to neighborhoods, notice we're going to jump up to the zip code level. The address just went away, and we're at the zip code level of where this property is here. So again, it's going to show you some charts and graphs there with market activity. Then it's going to show you housing. If you go to the housing tab there at the top, on the housing tab, it's going to show you the median estimated home value for the zip code, the city, the county, the state of Texas, and in the U.S. So all of these different things here are properties appreciating, depreciating, what are the median home ages in those different areas, the rent versus buy there, and then more charts and graphs down here at the bottom. If we go back up to the top and we go to people, on the people here, when we click on that, it's going to show us the population in each of those, from zip code all the way up to the U.S. Population density, is the population growing or shrinking in those different areas? What's the median age of the people that live in that area, and what's the male versus female there? Has their education levels down here on this chart. And if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see the age breakouts. The children, how did their ages break out there, and the population in that zip code. The ages of the adults, the households with and without children, the household income brackets, the occupations that they work in. So the total population of that zip code, what industries do they work in, or the segments of the market there. This agriculture and forestry used to be one in my area, and I always told them, told people I thought that was the game warden, but now it's jumped up to 18. Yeah. And then at the very bottom, you will see their voting patterns in the last major election. If you click on about this data on any of these up here, it will show you where that source came from and how old the data is. So this one just recently updated to the 2016 election there. Then if we go back up to the top and we click on economy, it's going to show you the per capita income again, and at the different levels again, from the zip code all the way out to the U.S., and the household incomes, the unemployment rates, what they're doing. Shows you a chart there with the unemployment rate. Then if we go to the last one, quality of life, right there. When you click on quality of life, this is going to show you the elevation, the number of days with rain, snow, full sun, travel time to work, all of that. Superfund and brownfield sites are going to be sites that need to be cleaned up, like a refinery or a power plant or whatever that they deem need those things. Then it's going to show you the average commute times. How do people get to work? Again, there's always an about over here on the left if you want to see where that data came from. So the majority of this is coming from the U.S. Census database there. Average monthly temperature. I don't know how this happened. All of a sudden in my zip code, it jumped up over 3. It was down in the 2s, but all of a sudden it's jumped up over 3. We have a pharmacy and a dock and a box on every corner, and more grocery stores than you could ever want up in our area. So I guess that's what's driving our walkability score up there over 3. The highest I've seen is like 4 or something, and it was in North Dallas around Highland Park or University Park, one of those areas up there. Okay, so lots of great data here in RPR, and it's all in one place there for you. Okay, you can also use this system to search for properties for buyers. If you come back to the home page by clicking on home up here in the top center, you can go to for sale. If it's in the for sale part of the database, that means it's active or pending in an MLS system. Okay. If you click in this area, you could look for a particular address, city, zip code, all the way out to an MLS number, just to show you a property that has been through MLS multiple times. If we type in 131-79031, 131-79031, I've got this one memorized because this is one of my pet properties here that Barbara showed me years ago. It actually looks like the White House. Can't see it right there. But if we go down to historical photos here, this property's been through MLS multiple times. It has 159 photos that have been saved from all of these different MLS systems. And the reason it's one of my favorite properties is it looks like the White House, both front and back. Just an outrageous home, 16,000 some odd square feet on 3.3 acres at Royal and Straight Lane in North Dallas there. It has really dropped in price. In 2014, it came on the market at $19.5 million. It's currently, it's off market.
Yeah.
They took it off. It was active just last week. It was active for $10.9 million. The RVM and AVM are not going to work for unique properties like this one. This is a very unique property in North Dallas surrounded by smaller properties. So it did an AVM using public records, and it compared from $110,000 to $1 million homes there, and it says, I don't even like my number right there with that 1 star. So unique properties right there are not going to work. No. If you scroll on down, again, you'll see pictures and notes and stuff. Y'all won't see that. If you're looking at this on your computer, you're not going to see the notes and pictures that I have because it only shows up to who's logged in there. and so forth. So lots of great information here from properties that have been through MLS. You'll see the listings over here on the right-hand side to the right of the pictures. How many times has it been through MLS and what's the status there? Okay? If we go back to home again, instead of looking for a individual property, hello, there we go. Get back to home here, you could search for properties in a particular area. So we're on the for sale tab. If we go to advanced here, let's say we want to search in, give me a city, Barb, where?
Where?
Give me a city.
Oh, let's do Addison.
So if we go to Addison, it'll guess all the different Addisons across the United States there. So there's Addison, Texas. And let's say we want to see properties from 300,000 to 400,000, so minimum and maximum price range. Then we could put in the number of beds and baths that we wanted. Keyword search. This is a very unique field. I love this field right here. Let's say your client has told you, we really want stainless steel appliances, or we want granite countertops, or a pool, something like that. You would type in whatever they told you that they want in this field, and it's going to look for that to be on the listing somewhere. So let's say granite. If we type in the word granite and we hit add, it adds it down below here. You can have up to 6 words in here. If it found any of those words, it would show it here. I'm just going to do the word granite, and when we're going to look and see if it really restricts our search. Then you can come down and ask for active or pending. I don't want to show them anything that's on the already got a contract, so I'm going to do active. Then you could do non-distressed, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, short sales. Let's just look for non-distressed. Then if we scroll on down, we're going to look for the property type. If we undo all there, we could do just single family. But there's lots of other fields we could search here for also. So single family, non-distressed, active between 300 and 400,000 in Addison. When we come over to the magnifying glass to the right and we click on it, it's going to run that search and show you the properties that match your criteria in Addison. Really? Wow. What got us here?
We
Price
need to
range?
check the price on that one, WJ.
Let's go up. Let's do $500,000 to
Yeah, let's go up a little higher.
700,000. Okay.
And it's great. You can change your search criteria on the left side of the screen.
Correct. I don't have to back up.
Just
I can do it
apply
right
it.
here on the side. It's called applying the filters. Once you make a change, you hit the apply button here. It's going to rerun with that criteria there.
Which is great. You don't have to go back to the home screen and start all over again.
Well, they don't have any inventory in Addison, apparently. Let's get rid of the granite and see if it's the granite that's getting it. So I'm going to undo the granite and hit apply.
Or maybe higher or above. Oh.
Well, let's do...
Let's just go all the way to the top.
Let's do no max.
There you go.
And apply. Well, Addison has just dropped off the face of the earth today, Barbara.
Well, okay. Let's try Plano. Put condos in as a search and increase price. Take out the granite. Carol Blair said. Thanks, Carol.
Let's go back to home. Let's do Plano.
Yeah, and he's showing you how easy it can be. If you can't find anything, you just start all over again.
So Plano, $500,000 or more on our advanced. Let's go ahead and add the granite back. And add. So active, non-distressed, single family in Plano that are $500,000 or more. We hit search.
There you go.
It's thinking about it here. It's going to give us the number that it finds over here. Probably going to find a pretty high number with $500,000 or more in Plano. So it's thinking about it, and
because there must be a lot. There must be a lot.
All right, now what's going on? This is this is not believable. What is going on?
Non-distressed.
I was just in here searching. See all these houses I've been searching for down here? For sale. There's something going on here. Let's hit clear search.
Yes.
Let's look. I was just looking out in Keller. Let's look for Keller, Texas.
There we go. Look at all the colors over the top.
Color all over the United States there. We're not going to do anything there. We'll just do actives only, non-distress. That's right.
Good.
Uncheck those, and let's just do single family again. So this should show us all active properties in Keller, Texas. We hit search there. And we should find a whole bunch. There we go, 150 properties. Not sure what was getting us there before. It may have been something I was doing, or could have had a hiccup in the database there. So it's showing us all the properties that match our criteria. Did I do the keyword search? I did not. Let's put the granted in now. And hit add. That'll add it down below here. Now if we come back up, out of these 150 properties, how many actually state that they have granite in there, or granite like it is in our MLS database now? So it showed
It doesn't
none.
like that. That's something we need to check.
Something's going on. I'm going to
Okay.
undo that and apply again. Went back to the 150. For some reason, that keyword search isn't working right today, apparently. So that may have been what was getting us there. So it's showing you the properties here. One of the things we teach you in the mobile RPR class is how to get ready for showing. So here in the top right-hand corner, across from Keller, if you go to Save, when you hit Save right there, it said it saved that area, but it called it Keller, Texas Saved Area. You can rename it. If you click on the rename here to the right, when you hit that rename, it will let you give this search a name. So let's say this is my buyers, the Smiths and Keller. So last name of the buyer and the homes in Keller, I hit OK. It saves that search with that name. Then you can also go to each of the properties here, and you can put a check mark, or excuse me, a click on the star, not a check mark, click on the star here, and let's say I'm going to show them several properties. When I click on the star and scroll down, it turns that little star gold, and it also tells me it added it to saved. So before I go show, if I come in here and I click on these saved properties, then it will put them in a list for me. If I go back to home in the top center, when I click on home there, over here on the left-hand side is a saved button. If I click that down arrow, it shows me the properties it has saved and the search that it's saved there. That makes it show up very easily to you when you're out showing, because on the app, if we scroll down here, here's a picture of the app. The bottom right-hand corner is that little star. When you click on that star, you're going to see the same properties you have in this list on your phone. So instead of having to drag around all those sheets of paper, the full agent reports you printed out all the time, you got a lot more information here about the property than you ever thought about having on that full agent report. Once you've shown the properties and you want to clear out and get ready for the next person, you come back here to this list, you hit edit, and then you can remove those properties with the little trash can. You can remove the saved search if you want to there, hit saved, and it's all cleared out and ready for you to put more properties in there.
Now that you're talking about buyers, we have a good question. Can you create a feed to embed into websites?
No, this is a research tool for you. If you want to do auto emails or things like that, you need to do it over a matrix. This is a research tool for you. The only thing that you can get out of this to send to your clients is reports. So it's right there. Also, when we were in a property here, it's right here, the blue button there. If you're on a property and you hit this, it carries that property information over here for you, and these are the reports that you can generate out of the system. So property report is meant for a buyer. Seller's report is a very detailed CMA report or listing presentation here. property flyer. Let's say I've got a listing and you're going to hold it open for me this Sunday, and you want to take flyers with your contact information on it, you could print this flyer. It would pull the pictures and information out of MLS and then put your contact information on it. These reports down here are mostly subsets of the seller's report. And the last one here, school reports. You can send a report on the elementary school, the middle school, the high school to your client there. So very detailed report. If you click on the seller's report here and you do details on it, this is a massive report. If you
Yes.
keep all of the sections here, it's going to be 80-something pages long. It is just full of details. If you want to remove something, like you don't want to show the expired listings or the distressed listings, you can uncheck it. That will stay unchecked for all future reports unless you come back here and click on them again. If you want to see what the page looks like, you roll over the little I behind it here. It will show what that page looks like, and you can determine, do I want to keep that page or do I want to get rid of that page?
We got another question. She asked about notes can we add notes to the ones we've starred and shown? Yes, you can. When you pull up any agent, when you pull up any information on a listing, there's a place you can add notes, only you will be seeing it. And if you print that report, right, WJ, it's going to be emailed with the notes.
Right. The notes are going to be the last page right here. Does it say notes?
One of the pages.
Yeah, one of the pages at the very
my notes,
right
it's
there.
up there.
Yeah, include my notes right there. It'll be one of the last pages there. So just to look at a seller's report that I've generated before over here, this property report,
Now, as he's pulling that up, the question was, how does RPR compare to the Cloud Suite, CMA Cloud Suite? Totally different. Your RPR reports are much more detailed.
Correct.
The Cloud CMA is
this-
a really nice report too.
Yeah, it's one of your better options, but this one is much more detailed.
Yes.
This one, I kept all the different sections at 85 pages long there. So just a massive report here with tons of information. The way you can shorten it is once you get into the property details down here, it has a single page for each one of the comparables, and it's just very, very detailed here. If you're dealing with a pilot or an engineer, one of those kind of guys, they're going to love all the detail you're giving them here for them to chew on. So massive report. You can print it. You can also email it to your client. Down here it gives you the option of viewing it as a PDF file, or you can email a link. It doesn't email a huge report. It emails a link to a website that report is generated on there. So your client views it exactly the same way that you looked at it there. All of your reports stay over here on the left-hand side. They stay here for 30 days. After 30 days, these will roll off. Okay? So the only thing you can share out of RPR with your clients is I shouldn't say share. The only thing that you can send your clients out of RPR are these reports. You can share all of the details in here because most of it is public information there for them to see. Okay? If we go back to home, one of the questions I get in class a lot is how can I use RPR to find pre-foreclosures? I want to get people that are in trouble, that might want to get rid of their property or have me list it for them. If you come over to all properties, and all properties again means whether it's in an MLS or not, this is basically the tax records of all properties here. If we go to advanced under all properties here, and you scroll down, we want the distressed properties, not the non-distressed. Distressed properties, we don't want them to be active or pending because that means they're already in an MLS. So we want distressed properties. If we scroll down, maybe I don't want all different property types. I'm just looking for single family right there. So that's all you have to do is distressed, not active or pending, single families. Now we're going to look in a particular area. So if we click up here, we could look in a city. Let's look in Louisville. Okay, You'll see all the different Lewisvilles over here. If we go down to Lewisville, Texas, and we hit search, it's going to show us the properties that have distressed actions against them in the tax records. Every time a lender sends a letter to a borrower that they're not meeting the terms of their loan, they have to record that letter with the Central Appraisal District. So you'll see, is it off market? This one is off market, but it's red instead of gray. The red means it's distressed, and it has pre-foreclosure and notice of trustee sale here. If it still has a person's name right here, you might be able to help them. If it already says a bank name, an LLC name, a mortgage company name, right there, they've already been foreclosed on. So the way you can tell is if you click on this address to look at this property, and you scroll up to the top, the History tab. On the History tab, it's going to show you those orange lines. Remember earlier I was showing the orange lines? If you roll over it, it tells you what letter was sent. It depends on the bank as to how aggressive they are on foreclosing on a property. So this one has had several notices of trustee sale sent. So either the bank is not very aggressive about doing this, or the homeowner is getting caught up in between these, and they didn't actually get foreclosed on. So if you get a call and somebody wants you to come list this property, and you see this in the last several months, your antenna need to go up. You need to be asking questions. Where are we at with the distressed property issues that you have? So you see them up here on the chart, but then if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you see what the letters were. So this property's had multiple ones. Here's a sale, there's a sale, there's a sale. If we scroll back, there's another sale, another sale. You could see 3 different letters here. The first one is notice of default. They're not meeting the terms of their loan. They're not making their payments on time, things like that. Then you'll see notice of trustee sale. That means the lenders sent them a warning, we're going to foreclose on your property. Then you'll see notice of foreclosure. That means the bank is taking the property back. So you could help them in the pre-foreclosure stage. You might even be able to help them in this sale stage here, depending on how aggressive the bank is. Once it's been foreclosed on, there's nothing you can do to help them. It's gone to the lawyers, they have foreclosed on them, and the lender is taking that property back. So the way we got here, if we go back to home here, before you put in an area, you have to get in all properties, advanced, you scroll down, you want the distressed, not the non-distressed. You don't want active or pending, and then if you want a certain property type, you would click on that property type there. That's how you find the pre-foreclosures.
Good question here, WJ. Can you search by ISD? Say a client doesn't care what city they are in as long as they are in a specific ISD. Now,
great question.
Yes.
I love the
Yes.
system for that. Okay. So if we're looking for sale properties for someone, when you're in for sale here, it's actually going to be on the map. So let's look for active, non-distressed, single families, and let's look in, let's look in Richardson.
that's good.
Richardson, if I could spell.
There you go. There she is.
Richardson, Texas. Okay, if we hit the magnifying glass here, the reason I said great question, because this map over here has something that our MLS does not have. If we hit the bigger map right there, it's going to bring up the footprint of the city of Richardson.
Yep.
Okay, I'm looking inside
Straight
that
footprint.
Well, if you go to this top bar, it has all the normal stuff you're used to seeing, drawn shapes and using pins on the map and using custom areas. Well, one thing that it has that's different is this show geography.
Love it.
When you click on that, look down here at the bottom.
Yep.
See those 3? That is showing you the footprints of the different grade levels. So if you click on 9th through 12th, it just did away with the city limits of Richardson, and now it's showing the high school footprints. If you click in one of them, it'll turn purple, and it'll tell you what high school it is, and then you can tell it, search in this geography. It's going to take your criteria and only show you homes that go to that high school. I wish our MLS had that. That's a neat feature.
Of course, you can also search by ISD up on the home page too, but this is so much better.
Yeah, because they're usually wanting a particular high school there.
Yeah.
One thing you need to know though, if you click here and you don't see this, it's because you're either too low. Whoops, one more click.
Yeah.
You're either too low. Well, it's still there.
You have to go the other way. You're hitting the plus sign.
There we go. If you're down in the neighborhood level, it's not going to show it. And if you are up too high and you click, it's not there either. Okay? So you have to be in the sweet spot right here to where they show up. Okay? So elementary school, middle school, high school. If we click on the high schools again, maybe they tell you, well, we either want to be in this high school or this high school. Then you can do both of them. Again, search in these geographies. It will apply your search criteria there and show you the properties that are in those that school area.
We had a question about absentee owners. You can search by owner's name on the home page.
You can. Yeah, if you go back
But
to
you have
home.
to do something like Wells Fargo. You can't really search by an absentee owner per se like you can. In realist tax, you can do that.
Yeah, you can look for owner occupied or,
Yes
or
or
not
no.
occupied. If we come back to home here, we go to all properties and we hit advanced. Right here, if you know the homeowner's name, you can search by name right there. If you know the tax ID, you can search by tax ID there. But as far as owner occupied or not, I have not seen a way to do that in this database. You do have other fields down here you can search by, but I have not seen the owner occupied field here. Okay, so RPR is a great research tool for you. It pulls data out of all these different databases and puts it in one place for you. And the reports are by far the most detailed reports I have seen in real estate. So a great tool for you to use. Again, the power of it is it works on your computer, it works on your tablet, it works on your phone. So when you're out in the mobile environment, you have this. We do teach a class that shows you how to use this app. It's very intuitive, it's very easy to use, but I would recommend that you take that class there. Also, if you scroll down to the bottom, just one last thing here before we wrap up, coming up on 11 o'clock, if you come to the footer at the bottom and you go to blog, you click on blog, it says, hey, you're leaving RPR, that's fine, we're just opening up another tab here. When you go to the blog there, it's going to bring you to a page here and go to training underneath the picture of the app. When you go to training, it's going to show you the tablet app. The tablet looks a little bit different. Some of the same screens on the left here, but then it's got more area for mapping and showing you information. But then video learning. They have lots of great videos here for you to use. If you wanted to see all of them, you click on all. If you just want the agent ones, you'll show the agent ones. They have a video that shows you all the different segments of the system that you can use. They've actually just rearranged it. It looks a little bit different there. You can click on whatever video you want to look at there, and they have instructors that are in the video here that do an excellent job. So, whoops, turn that off. So it steps you through, shows you the screens at the same time they're showing you what to do. So those are there for you to use anytime you want.
Got a couple of questions. I sent a message to all of you. You log into RPR once you log into MLS, it's under external links. But then we have, does all the data come from MLS for commercial property?
No. In RPR, if you're on the commercial side of the database here, the listings that you're going to see in here are NETRIS listings, okay? They come from our MLS. There's two systems here in North Texas that I know of LoopNet and CoStar. Those are fee systems that charge realtors to put their listings into their database. They would be giving their product away for free if they put it in this database, so I don't think we're ever going to see them join the RPR system because they would basically be giving that away for free. So if you're interested in the commercial side of the database, look for the introduction to commercial. One thing that is great over here, even if you don't do commercial real estate, you need to come see this go-to analysis. You can use this database called ESRI, E-S-R-I. This database has consumer demographics and consumer spending information in it. And you can make lots of business decisions based on where people are, the industries they work in, their net worth, their marital status. It even tracks every time you swipe or insert your card into a point of sale terminal, it tracks what you're buying and where you're buying it down to your neighborhood. And you can make lots of business decisions based on spending patterns of people in there. So you can search that. Again, don't have time to get into it today, but I highly recommend you come back to the commercial RPR class, and we can show you lots of neat things with that. And then the go-to maps here show you some different things out there also. So on the red side of the database, you're on commercial. Blue side of the database, you're on residential. All right, well, just to respect everybody's time here, it's just a little bit after 11. We've taken up our time. Would love for you to go to our website again, mymetrotex.com. If you want to see our classes, go to courses and events over here. You'll see all of the calendar here for MetroTex and all of our different classes. We're partial to the MLS classes. If you come over here to the left and click on MLS, you'll just see our MLS classes here.
And I reminded him when we have the RPR 3-hour class for TREC approval on February 14th from 1 to 4.
Yep. You can get CE credit on all of our MLS classes here, the date and the time on the left, the class name, and then the location. We teach in each of our locations each month, so if you find a class you're interested in, make sure it's in a location you want to take it in also. So, say goodbye, Barb.
Say goodbye, Barb.
All right. Y'all have a great week. If you have any questions, feel free to give our MLS department a call. We're there to help you anytime you have any needs. And everybody be safe out there. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.